The NFL is a league where money talks, but it also lies, and it lies far more often than you might think. Every offseason, a few names get life-changing paydays. Some go out and prove that they deserve it, while others merely collect paychecks and leave fans wanting more week in and week out. The truth of the matter is that there are plenty of players that are counting millions that haven't really earned it, and there are just as many doing elite-level work on rookie deals and discount contracts. But today, we're diving into the most egregious on both sides of the aisle. So, without further ado, let's take a look around the NFL at the 5 most overpaid players in the game today and the 5 most underpaid. Overpaid, Taysom Hill, QB/TE, New Orleans Saints. There was once upon a time when Taysom Hill was one of the NFL's most fascinating players, a real do-it-all weapon who blurred the line between quarterback, tight end, and running back, and frankly, was just an all-around good football player. For a few years, that versatility gave the Saints a legitimate schematic edge. But in 2025, that story's kinda changed. A guy like Hill is luxury on a roster. And, currently, the Saints have way too many holes to be investing that much money into him. Hill is now 35, coming off a torn ACL and carrying a $14.2 million cap hit for a player who doesn't have a defined position anymore. That number would be high for a starting tight end, let alone a gadget player who might touch the ball 5 or 6 times a game. Age and injury have stripped away some of that explosiveness. What's left is a jack of all trades whose impact no longer justifies the paycheck. He's still a tough, respected locker room guy, but the Saints are paying premium money for what's essentially a role player. And that's honestly the issue. The contract was such a stretch even before the injury. It made sense when Sean Payton was designing weekly packages around him, but man, in 2025, with a new coaching staff and a younger roster, this deal feels like a leftover from another era. Hill's been a fan favorite and a tone setter for years, but the NFL's a business, and sentiment cannot outweigh production. He was once the ultimate luxury player, but now he's an expensive reminder of just how fast that luxury can fade. And that's why Taysom Hill lands firmly on the overpaid side of this list. Underpaid, Jayden Daniels, QB, Washington Commanders. Few rookie quarterbacks step in and immediately change the entire tone of a franchise, but Jayden Daniels did exactly that in Washington. After years of dysfunction, bad quarterback play, and constant turnover, the Commanders finally have something resembling stability. Daniels, the 2024 second overall pick, has given Washington an identity, and he's doing it on a rookie contract that pays him less than several backup quarterbacks. His dual-threat ability has already transformed the offense. He makes defenders miss, he's accurate on the move, and he's shown an early understanding of how to manage a game. Washington isn't a contender yet, but they are competitive, and for the first time in a decade, they're relevant. And that's almost entirely because of Daniels. What makes him truly underpaid isn't just his numbers. It's more the value that he provides relative to his cost. The Commanders are getting top 10 quarterback production for a fraction of the price. His cap hit barely registers compared to veterans making $40 to $60 million. Even if he's still learning, Daniels' leadership and composure give Washington a foundation that they have sorely missed since RG3's rookie year. If he keeps trending up, then this rookie deal becomes one of the biggest bargains in all of football. He's not just underpaid because of his performance. Daniels transcends that. He has given a broken franchise some measure of hope again, which, man, that is priceless. Overpaid, Kirk Cousins, QB, Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons' decision to hand Kirk Cousins a 4-year, $180 million deal with $100 million guaranteed might go down as one of the strangest moves in recent memory. Cousins built his reputation in the league as a steady, accurate quarterback, but his ceiling was well known. Good, not great. He'll get you 4,000 yards, complete 68% of his passes, and maybe sneak into the playoffs, but he's never been the guy who lifts a team beyond its roster. Atlanta didn't just pay him like a franchise cornerstone, they did it right before drafting his replacement in Michael Penix Jr. A confusing message for everyone involved, to say the least, especially with Cousins recovering from a torn Achilles in his mid-30s. Now the Falcons are paying top 5 quarterback money for a player who's not even starting under center for him. The deal made sense if Atlanta was one piece away, but they weren't. They were rebuilding. And Cousins is not the quarterback who rebuilds anything. He just maintains. And for $180 million, well, you need more than maintenance. Underpaid, Joe Alt, OT, Los Angeles Chargers. Every so often, a rookie lineman comes in and looks like he's been doing it for a decade. And that's been Joe Alt for Jim Harbaugh's upstart group out west. The Chargers took Alt 5th overall in the 2024 draft, expecting him to anchor the right side of the line. But when injuries hit the roster, he flipped to left tackle, the most challenging and critical position on the offensive line, and didn't just survive, he absolutely dominated. At 6'9" with elite technique and balance, Alt used his skill set well to become the most consistent player on a line that has struggled for years to protect its franchise quarterback. He handles power and speed rushers alike with the calm of a veteran. The Chargers offense looks completely different when he's on the field. And as we've seen when he's missed time with injury, the entire unit falls apart without him, which should tell you everything that you need to know about his value. Alt's cap hit is just over $7.5 million this season. That's pretty incredible considering that he's already playing like one of the best tackles in the league. Veteran left tackles of his caliber would expect to make over $20 million annually. The Chargers are getting near all-pro performance for roughly a third of that price. Sure, offensive line play doesn't grab headlines, but it's the difference between a functioning offense and total chaos. And Alt's presence has absolutely stabilized a team at a steep discount. Overpaid, Brandon Aiyuk, WR, San Francisco 49ers. Brandon Aiyuk was once the rising star in Kyle Shanahan's offense. Clean routes, reliable hands, and big play juice. But today, his $120 million extension and recent injury history raised some serious questions about whether the 49ers overpaid. Aiyuk inked that 4-year deal in August of 2024 with a $22.85 million option bonus kicking in, making his guarantee structure even heavier. Only for him to struggle at the gate and then tear his ACL and MCL in Week 7, an injury from which he is still not returned. Before the injury, his best season was 2023 with 1,342 yards. Impressive, but that was fully healthy, in a setting built around him and other weapons. Now he's being paid like one of the top receivers in the league while coming off a long rehab, uncertain timeline, and durability risk. Aiyuk is talented, and when fully healthy, he can be a mismatch piece. But the 49ers are banking big money on a what-if scenario right now. And boy, this is definitely an expensive what-if. Underpaid, Jared Verse, Edge, Los Angeles Rams. The Rams drafted Jared Verse to help fill the massive void left by Aaron Donald's retirement, and he's delivered early. Powerful off the edge, disciplined against the run, and relentless in pursuit. Verse has been everything that LA hoped for and more. His impact goes well beyond stats. He's commanding attention from blockers, forcing protection shifts, and creating pressure that makes everyone else on that defense better. He plays every snap like it's life or death, and at under $4 million per year, that's a major win. He still has room to grow, but the energy and efficiency are already there. If he keeps trending this way, his next deal will be massive. But until then, the Rams have one of the best value contracts in football and the foundation for their next defensive era. Overpaid, L'Jarius Sneed, CB, Tennessee Titans. After being traded from Kansas City, the Titans gave Sneed a contract worth nearly $20 million per year, one of the highest at his position. That kind of money implies that you're the type of corner who erases opposing wide receivers every week. But Sneed has, quite frankly, been a non-factor on an already irrelevant Titans team. He was once known for being a tough, physical tone setter, but he also relies heavily on safety help and is not a perfect fit in every coverage scheme. Kansas City knew this, and that's why they were so comfortable parting ways and replacing him with younger, cheaper corners. And, well, they haven't really missed a beat. Without elite pass rush help or complimentary coverage, it's hard to justify that price tag. The Titans are paying him like a difference maker, but he's really more of a role player. At least, that's what the tape is telling us. Underpaid, Sam Darnold, QB, Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold's career has been a roller coaster. Drafted to save the Jets, where he, like many, have failed, then traded to Carolina, rebuilt in Minnesota, and now landing in Seattle. But after the season he just had, his new contract with the Seahawks might quietly be one of the best value quarterback deals in the entire league, especially with how sharp he's looked to start the 2025 season, in spite of everyone's fears that he would vanish without Kevin O'Connell leading the way for him. Seattle signed Darnold to a 3-year, $100.5 million contract with $37.5 million guaranteed at signing. That sounds hefty at first glance, but dig deeper, and it's shockingly team-friendly. Darnold's full guarantees covered just his $32 million signing bonus. his 2025 base salary, and a small workout bonus. That's it. If the Seahawks decide to move on after 1 year, they'd owe him nothing beyond that. In a market where middle-tier quarterbacks routinely pull in over $40 million annually, Seattle locked in a guy playing well above replacement value. Look, Darnold might never be elite, but his contract reflects a perfect balance of affordability, flexibility, and is backed by proven production. That is some incredible value for a player who finally looks like he has really put it together in a way that will last. Overpaid? Haason Reddick. Edge, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Haason Reddick's career has been a story of peaks and valleys, from emerging as a breakout star in Philadelphia's Super Bowl run to a messy, forgettable stint with the Jets. But now, he's landed in Tampa Bay and trying to pick up the pieces, trying to prove that his peak performance wasn't an illusion or a byproduct of a strong Philly D, and that there's actually still some gas left in the tank. Reddick is carrying a cap hit of nearly $13.2 million this season, a hefty number for a player whose effort level is so inconsistent. The results, well, they haven't exactly been great, as he's logged just 1 sack through the first 5 games with Tampa Bay. And that comes on the heels of a 2024 campaign where he managed only 1 sack in 10 games, and that came on the heels of a 2024 campaign where he managed only 1 sack in 10 games with the Jets before being traded. That kind of production, or, well, lack thereof, does not match the kind of money that he's being paid. I see the player for Tampa. They wanted a high upside spark for its pass rush, but so far, the actual impact has been missing in action. If Reddick doesn't turn things around soon, this contract will go down as another cautionary tale, paying for past production instead of proven results. Underpaid? Josh Jacobs, RB, Green Bay Packers. For years, Josh Jacobs built a reputation for being one of the toughest, most productive runners in the entire game. But he did so in Las Vegas for a hapless Raiders team. And it looks like with his move to Green Bay and the contract that he took, he's looking at the bigger picture and trying to play meaningful, winning football rather than merely his financial benefit. Jacobs signed a 4-year, $48 million contract with the Packers ahead of the 2024 season, which sounds solid for a running back until you see the fine print. Only $12.5 million guaranteed at signing, with the rest structured through roster bonuses and incentives. In a market where Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Derrick Henry all topped $14 million annually, Jacobs' deal sits quietly below them, and yet he has been every bit as impactful. At just 27, Jacobs exploded in his first season with Green Bay, rushing for 1,329 yards and 15 touchdowns, providing the Packers with a true workhorse in the process. Not just catching passes and breaking big runs, but as the physical tone setter that they'd been missing since Aaron Jones left. And he did it on what's essentially a 1-year prove-it structure that paid him $14.8 million in total compensation. With his current production, he's doing well on incentives, but he is still underpaid in my estimation, and it's kind of crazy just how much risk he took by entering a contract with this structure. But hey, who do you think is the most overpaid player in the game today? Who do you think's the most underpaid? Who do you think we're right on here? Who do you think we're wrong about? Was there anyone notable that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking that like button helps us out a ton. Maybe we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.